It's the battle of the e-readers, and the contenders that we have for that is Kindle Paperwhite and Kobo Libra Color. Now, if you're still lugging paperbacks in your bag, you've probably landed on these two names, Kindle or a Kobo. Now, every spec comparison video treats this like a numbers game, but you're not going to be reading a spec sheet when you're in bed at 11 p.m. comfortable with a book. So instead, I'm going to walk you through how it feels like to live every day with these readers. How they feel like in your hand, how they treat your eyes, how the subscription looks like, everything a reader cares about. Now let's start with the thing that nobody talks about, how it feels like to actually hold them for an hour straight, because that's the real test for an e-reader. Now the Kindle is flat like a slab, it's very lightweight. Just holding them in my hand, it almost feels similar, but I feel like the Kindle weighs a little lesser than the Kobo. So the Kindle has this slab-like design. It has a bezel at the bottom, so when you're reading, you can rest your thumb on it and you don't accidentally touch the screen and turn the page. But when you're holding it for a long time, it might get a little uncomfortable because you're holding it in this L position. At least that's how I hold it. So it gives you a little bit of a cramp on the fingers. So not very ergonomic when it comes to that. Now Kobo, on the other hand, takes a very different approach. It's stretched out on the side and it has these inbuilt buttons to turn the pages. But these buttons have so much more than just turning pages. It almost feels like it's an extension of your hand. It's made to feel sturdy when you're holding your Kobo like this. And the design, in my opinion, it's very ergonomic. I have not faced the problem of my hands cramping or it hurting whenever I'm reading on my Kobo in my bed anywhere. And you can turn either ways while you're reading on your Kobo. It goes 360, so you can make it horizontal, vertical, depending on which side you want to turn to. And the buttons also adjust accordingly. And I like to snack while I'm reading, so it helps me with that ache of not having to touch my screen when I have to turn pages. So that's really good about it. Now let's talk about the reading experience on both these devices. Now this is a really important part because this is where your eyes are going to be for the majority of the time. The Kindle Paperwhite screen is black and white and the text is very crisp and sharp. So it does deliver well on its name with it being called a Paperwhite. If most of your reading is going to be just plain text, you're reading novels, fiction, non-fiction, whatever books, but it's just plain text, I feel like Kindle does a really good job for that. Kindle also has the option to adjust the warmth of the screen. So if you're reading, let's say, outdoors, indoors, in the night, you can adjust the brightness and the color of the screen accordingly. So it doesn't really hurt your eyes. It's very easy on your eyes. As compared to the old Kindle models, this one also has a very smooth page turning experience because I was using the older generation Kindle before I got the Paperwhite and it felt like a huge upgrade. That used to lag a little bit whenever I was turning pages. It used to take a while for the page to load after maybe I've used it for a couple of minutes. So that I don't see in this one. Overall, I feel like the reading experience is very smooth on the Kindle Paperwhite. You can also turn on the page animation like this if you want to have a more paper-like, a book-like feel. Now, the Kobo Libra Color takes a completely different and a very interesting approach given that it has color ink. The button to turn on the Kobo is here on the back as opposed to the Kindle which has it on the bottom. You can also customize your Kobo turn on at the touch of these buttons, but it doesn't really help if you throw it in the bag and this gets turned on. You might just exhaust your battery. So I don't have it turned on, but you have the option to do that as well. But this took me a while to get used to on the back here. But then you turn it on and this is how the Kobo screen looks like. You have the option to annotate with different colors. So you have yellow, pink, blue and green. So you can select which color you want your highlight to look like. And you can also change it by just clicking on it and then selecting the other color. So this is a really cool feature in the Kobo, not gonna lie. I was very fascinated by this when I first got it. I was using it endlessly. But the longer I've used the Kobo Libra Color, the text on this feels less sharp to me as compared to my Kindle Paperwhite. The color on the Kobo Libra Color sits as a layer on top of the plain text, so it takes away that little bit of the sharpness away. It's not that bad, honestly, but if you put them side by side, you can make out the difference between the text on the Kindle and the text on your Kobo. You can see that the text on the Kobo seems slightly softer than what we see on the Kindle. So I feel like the real question is, do you read a lot of comics, manga, something that has color images? In that case, the color gimmick of the Kobo is not really a problem. It really wins in that sense. But if you are a purely fiction plain text reader, Kindle would be a better choice in that case. Now let's talk about the Kobo store and the Kindle store. Now, when I was deciding whether I should move from my Kindle to a Kobo, this is one thing that I didn't really pay attention on, and it really turned out to be something that changed my entire perspective on the Kobo. You can quote me on this, but nothing comes close to the Kindle Paperwhite. I will die on this hill. Both Kindle and Kobo have their own subscriptions if you want to get them. Kindle Unlimited is just a subscription that you pay for monthly, and you get access to these selected collection of books that Amazon has put in their Kindle Unlimited library. Similar to how we have Kindle Unlimited on Kindle, we have Kobo Plus as well, in which you get a similar catalog of some books. The monthly subscription for Kindle Unlimited is 169 Indian rupees, and for Kobo it is 149 Indian rupees. In the US, the Kindle Unlimited subscription is around $12, and the Kobo Plus subscription is around $7 to $9. Kobo has two types of subscriptions. One is that you just get access to the books that you can download from their catalog, and the second one is the feature to even have audiobooks on it. So that is a plus, and something that I discovered after I had gotten my Kobo. I was not aware of that. Kindle does not have it. You can turn on accessibility and have your Kindle narrate the book that you're reading, but it's of course not as good as listening to an audiobook. Now you might be thinking, why did I say that Kindle Unlimited is way better than Kobo Plus, even though the price is slightly lesser for the Kobo book catalog? That is because the collection on Kobo Plus is shit. It barely has any readable books, at least for me. I'm a fiction reader. The kind of books that I wanted to read, I was not able to find it on Kobo Plus. Kindle Unlimited, on the other hand, also has some books that can be labeled as really bad, but it still offers some of the popular books, I would say. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to pay for a subscription, if you just want to buy a book off of Kindle or on a Kobo, Kobo's prices are almost double the price that you would get on the Kindle. The first book that I read on my Kobo was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and when I went to look up the price on the Kindle, it was almost 1000 Indian rupees, and on my Kindle, the same book was for 300 Indian rupees. So it's even more than double the price here. But on the Kobo, you have the ability to just send EPUBs. You can upload it to your drive, and then you access your drive on the device, and you can download them and read them. So if you're somebody who reads a lot of PDFs, you download PDFs for work, school, whatever, you have that ability here. But Kindle only supports whatever you download from Amazon. So that's kind of a restriction on the Kindle, but that doesn't really bother me because I'm not somebody who reads a lot of PDFs or I download something from the internet. I mainly use these devices to read books, which I can access them from the store. Another thing that I found out when I was researching about Kindle versus Kobo is that you can file for a refund on Kobo's website if you find a book for a cheaper price than what you paid on your Kobo store. But that is not available in India. There are only 4 countries, I think, where you can do that. Canada, UK, and 2 other countries which I don't remember the name of, but basically not available in India. Now let's talk about the battery life and some of the other features that we get for both of these readers. Now, Kindle hands down wins here again for me. This device, I barely have to charge it once in 2 or 3 weeks. Kobo, on the other hand, even though I have both of these on airplane mode, Kobo's battery drains a lot faster as compared to Kindle. I charge this, if I'm reading on this, let's say throughout the week, I have to charge it at least once. Now you have the option to buy this stylus with Kobo, which goes right here. It looks very fancy. If you are somebody who likes annotating a lot and you take notes while you're reading, or even if you're in school work, you want to jot something down, this works great for that. While our old school Kindle has no feature like that, it's just meant for reading, nothing else. But this stylus does not come with the standard box when you buy the Kobo Libra Color. This comes at an additional cost. It costs around 7,000 Indian rupees and around 30 to 40 US dollars. Since my Kobo is white in color, I wanted the stylus as well to be white, but it was not available in India, so this is the best that I could do. But I don't know if I would say this was worth it, because I'm not somebody who annotates a lot. I want to be that person who annotates, but then I cannot multitask while I'm reading. I get distracted. So even though it looks fancy and I was very excited about it, it's not been of great use for me. You have the lock screen option to display your book covers on both the devices. Kindle Paperwhite is just a black and white device, so it just shows it in this black and white cover. But on the Kobo, it looks really fancy because we have all the colors popping even on the lock screen, and you have this option to show how much you've read a book. So this one right now shows only 1% read, but yeah, you can see it on the lock screen. Another cool feature that the Kobo has, which the Kindle does not, which is very reader specific, which makes me believe that this was made by a reader for a reader, is that you can see your reading stats on Kobo. You can see hours of reading, average minutes per session, how many average pages you read per minute, how many books you've finished, and your total hours of reading. All of it is available on the Kobo. Now the stats on the Kobo look really bad because I don't read on the Kobo anymore. I have lent it to my fiance, so he's the one who reads on it. So now the burning question, which one should you buy? Should it be Kindle Paperwhite or should it be Kobo Libra Color? It all depends on your use case. I know that sounds really dumb, but it really just boils down to what you want to use it for. If you are somebody who reads plain text, just novels, no comics, mangas, then Kindle Paperwhite is the obvious choice. But if you have a little bit more budget and you want to try a colored reader, you can try Kobo's e-reader. The Kobo costed me without the stylus around 20,000 Indian rupees, and the Kindle, which I got in 2024, at that time it was 15,000 Indian rupees. Now the direct competitor for the Kobo Libra Color from Amazon is of course the Kindle Colorsoft. That's even more expensive than this. I think it was around 30 or 40,000 Indian rupees, and I have not heard great reviews about it. It's also not available in India, so it's not that I have the option to buy it, but even if I did, I don't think I would switch from the Paperwhite to the Colorsoft solely based off the reviews and the fact that they stopped the production a couple of months after releasing it, so that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. Basically, what I was trying to say is that if you are somebody who likes to annotate a lot and you see yourself writing down, using it as a journal, taking down notes, I would say a Kobo could be good for you. But then again, keep in mind that the annotating and the note taking, all of that comes handy only if you have the stylus, which is of course at an additional cost than the Kobo. Those are my little 2 cents on both of these devices. I got my first Kindle in 2020 actually. So I have been using the Kindle for almost 6 years. I had the older version and then I upgraded it 2 years back. The Kobo I got last year. So I have been using the Kobo on and off for almost 9 months. I do read more on my Kindle, but when I got the Kobo just to test it out, I think for a month or so, solely I was reading on the Kobo. Now, if you ask me about my pick, if it has not been obvious till now, it is going to be Kindle 100%. Just the look and feel of it, it just feels so comfortable, and I like the fact that it's just this plain slab. There are no distractions. Yeah, there's not a lot that you can do with it. There are no fancy reading stats, none of that, which sounds nice and it's good to have, but I find it very comfortable to read. The only thing that I think I spoke about as well is that you get cramps on your hand when you're holding it for a really long time. I have found a solution for that. I have this beautiful case for my Kindle. So I pop my Kindle in and then it has the strap to hold it. So even though I'm reading, I'm not, I don't have that L-shaped weird claw here. So it's really comfortable. Is it more comfortable than a Kobo? Probably not, but I cannot without my Kindle. is the best investment hands down that I've made till now. The only thing that I could do with is that the back of the cover is not magnetic. It is magnetic in the front, so it doesn't. Okay. So it doesn't flap open like this. Like even if I shake it, it would have helped if even the back of it was like that, because when I'm reading and if I'm changing positions, it opens like that. So that's the only drawback. I'm not complaining. I did get a cover for the Kobo as well because I spent so much money on it, so I wanted to protect it. Cover for the Kobo as well was not cheap, just like the device is not cheap, the stylus is not cheap, but the cover for sure is very sturdy. This cover is Kobo's cover itself. This costed me around 4,000 Indian rupees. It has that magnetic flap. It is a good cover to use, but it's a little boring. If you look at my Kindle and this side by side, which one would you pick? Of course this. But it also has the stylus hold here, so that's nice. Oh, that's magnetic as well. So yeah, that is what I feel about both of these e-readers. I hope this video helped you in some way to make a decision if you want to buy a Kindle or Kobo suits your needs better. If you have any more questions, I'm open to them. You can put them in the comments. I will be glad to answer them. But stay tuned on more yapping, because I'm going to talk about why I switched from Kindle to Kobo and then back to my Kindle. I don't know how to end this, but if you've made it till here, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you took something away and you enjoyed the video, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!